Welcome to the channel, people. If you're new here, I'm Brandi, and today I am bringing you some Pallet and Tumbling Block DIYs. To start this first one, I layered the tumbling blocks sideways and going to use this tacky glue, and I'm not happy about it. Let's just leave it at that and carry on. We'll get there. This is the most in-depth I go into layering all of these, but basically because of the shape. So I took this tacky glue and I've had subbies tell me about this. I've had, other channels, they use it. It's not for me. Please don't mention it no more, okay? I'm gonna stick to my hot glue and my wood glue. This just, but I carried on. I mustered through the pain. Once I got these all stacked sideways, I continued to just press them together in a manner that was allowing them to still fall apart. Apparently nothing I was doing with this, tacky glue, it could be operator error. I don't know, but it is not for me. I appreciate the information. It's not for me. As you can tell, I literally struggled this entire time trying to keep these pieces together and layer this piece, because you're using the tumbling blocks sideways, and then as you're going along, you're squeezing them in and trying to make sure they are sideways so that way you can bend them up. We are creating a table centerpiece with this, like a bowl type of look. When I got towards the end, I started pushing the tumbling blocks back a little bit, giving them just a small amount of space to really be able to tilt them upwards. And the piece started becoming fairly heavy and falling forward, so I started having to use some props to hold this up while I continued. As I dealt with the struggle of everything falling apart on me consistently with this tacky glue, I decided let's use painter's tape. And then once it dried enough, I went back in here with wood glue and literally painted the entire thing with all the little crevices that it had to make sure that this was going to stay together. Now, in case you're wondering, I did sit this in front of a fan with the tacky glue and the painter's tape all attached and let this dry for about an hour for me to be able to get it to this point and paint it. Now, I know what you all are thinking, like, Brandi, oh my gosh, you're showing us everything. Listen, I spray painted one time, okay? And I know I got some people that like spray paint. So this part is for yous. If you don't want to watch, skip it. So in case you're wondering, I like to kind of put everything together and then spray paint all at once instead of do things separately. I did save you the individual spray painting. For those who don't want to watch it, you're welcome. This is a manipulatable, however you want to say it, wire. You can bend it. I'm going to put this on the top using a drill bit and putting a little hole in the sides of these tumbling blocks. Now, this was dangerous. Don't do it. I'm letting you know. I should have clamped this down to a table and then drilled through this like that. I could have easily put a hole in my finger, but you're going to want to put a little bit of a hole in here, about like 1/4 of a centimeter, or you can, for crafter's sake, if you want to just hot glue it together, go right ahead. I wanted this to stay together. Now, I'm not going to lie, the wire will bend very easily even after you have it glued in, so you want to make sure that you are putting whatever florals on the top, that you're using something that you can take on and off. I just used some like trash twisty ties to put my florals on the top of here, so that way I can reuse this wire and bend it as I need to if it moves. So just a little tip. Now, I had to rig this up so the little wire would stay straight up while it was drying, but it turned out beautiful.
If you think that you got it, hands up, put your money where your mouth is. If you think that you got it, hands up, put your money where your mouth is.
That's right, people. For the rest of the video, you're going to see my wood glue and my hot glue. It's like instantaneous. As long as you don't put these on top of one another, it will. And of course, I have issues always with the wood glue. Oh, it is. One day I will remember to make sure it's cleaned before I start using it. But as long as you do not put these on top of one another, you will have almost an instantaneous bond, and it only takes you about 5 to 7 seconds of holding it in place for you to be able to move on to the next one. And I do clean out the little smooshes of hot glue in the process. I'm making a little pallet shelf. You know, you see these, like, you can actually, I thought it would be an awesome idea to put several of these pallets together, like put 3 or 4 in a row, and you could literally make a little farmhouse wall shelf with these. It would be super cute with a little lip, but I just did one. I'm just giving you guys ideas. We're not wasting my precious pallets. I don't have that many, so, you know, I had these couple little ideas, but we're going to make this one a little bit of a shabby chic and put some decoupage. So here is another way you could do this as well. I did one long ways and then, well, I guess one standing up, one laying down, however you want to say it, and continued using the wood glue and the hot glue, not overlapping them, because then the wood glue is not going to dry properly. You're not going to have a good tight hold. But I've done this many, many times and know that these are not going anywhere. Again, you watch me spray paint it. This is where we're coming in. I picked this pretty paper up at Hobby Lobby. You're going to just cut it into slices so this way it fits on your pallet pieces. And then take your Mod Podge, put a nice heaping helping. This is not like a napkin. The paper is thicker, so you're going to want more Mod Podge than you would use for a napkin, and shove down on here. And I just repeated the process until I did both of these little pallet shelves. I can't even express how adorable I think that these are, and there are so many ways you could redo this DIY to just make it your own. Now, again, I'm using E6000 for this because I'm out of my Gorilla Glue, but it is so important that you do not overlap these. So don't overlap your E6000 and your hot glue, or it is not going to hold properly. You see how I am purposefully putting them in different spots to get it an immediate quick hold so it doesn't go anywhere, and then you're going to have that longer hold with the E6000. I'm finishing these off by taking just a little bit of antique Waverly wax, and that's it. The next 2 ideas are purely selfish, people. I wanted some things for some staging and thought I'm just going to take y'all along with me for the ride. Ew. I had to share this with you. Hair and wood glue. Welcome to my grossness. Anyhow, my hair falls out all the time. Like, I don't even know. Like, I shed like a dog. Anyhow. For this little risers, I thought it was so cute. Just add little tumbling blocks onto these. I don't know if you've seen this or you haven't seen this before, but I'm, you know, sharing my little farmhouse rustic risers with you. You see me spray paint it, right? Okay. Well, I didn't want to get crazy with the spray paint on these because I wanted them to look rustic. I wanted you to be able to see some of the wood coming through. I wanted different variations in paint, so I took more of the apple barrel and put on there, and now we're just taking our stamps and using more apple barrel paint. I'm taking black and going to just stamp these on here. Now, if you haven't used a stamp before, and I can only tell you from my experience, these clean off really well with apple barrel paint, and if you just use a little bit of dish soap and some warm water, they clean right off. So I don't know other people's experiences or what they use, but this is just me and what I can tell you I've used, and this works for me well. Went in with a little bit of the light distressing after we stamped them, and they're so beautiful. For all my modern people, this little style is for you, but you can really customize this however fits your style. I customized it modern. You're going to take your tumbling blocks and put one right in the center. This I used as like a base point for where I was going to put my 2 side tumbling blocks, because you're going to take a pair of cutters. You can use a miter box if you want. You can use whatever floats your boat. I'm using my wire cutters from Hobby Lobby just to snip the sides. We're going to cover them anyway, people, so don't worry about it. And I'm going to just hot glue and wood glue these down, and you're going to let this dry for 24 hours once you have this all glued together before you start doing anything else with it, so it holds. I know you're thinking, Brandi, this is not going to hold. Listen, do I steer you wrong? I tell y'all what my real experience is, and I'm telling you this is going to hold. I even dropped this piece and it didn't fall apart. If you are not fuzzy inside about it, take a little paintbrush and go back over the creases and wood glue more before you end it up painting it. Do not do it after you paint it. In my opinion, it doesn't work as well. Anyhow, I spray painted this black. Then we're going to come in with our Dollar Tree stencil, and we're just going to add some stencils on here. You could leave it plain, you could leave this whatever color you want, paint it whatever color you want, whatever makes you use fuzzy inside. Again, I was going for a nice modern look and wanted this to add into my modern, little staging things, and thought, this is cute. And if you guys are not familiar with me, I love palettes, Dollar Tree palettes, they're my jam. So I'm trying to give you guys inspiration, some ideas for these. In the comments below, let me know if you like this video, because I have more ideas for mixing the tumbling blocks into palettes, so I'd be happy to make another video of this if you're interested. I picked these brad nails up, or brad little things up, at Michael's, and be safe when you're cutting the edges off if you're not using them for what they're meant for. I put it in my hand so the little metal pieces don't fly, and glued these on the ends. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, people. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see more of tumbling block and palette DIYs. Until next time, bye!